What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for tonight. Do me a favor, take a moment, like button, subscribe button, criticism in the comment section, Twitter. Shutdown Safety is my username. If you do follow me on Twitter, you obviously know I promised this video Thursday, but I did lose my grandmother early Saturday morning. So, listen, I don't know what type of relationship other commentators or creators on YouTube have with their subscribers. And granted, my channel's small compared to a lot, but I do know one thing. I have the best relationship with my subscribers and viewers than anybody. You know, I've unfortunately had to go through some tragic things in my life, and I've shared them with you. And the only thing I've ever gotten back was, prayers, well wishes, positive vibes. And I don't know how to quantify a thank you into words for that. But, for all the people that hit a retweet or sent me a PM or said something to me, whether it was then or now, I really don't know how to say thank you, but it does mean a lot to me that people that I'll probably never meet or never know can genuinely care about a voice on their computer or their cell phone. It really is hard, like I said, to put into words. So with that said, somebody asked me to talk about Matt Ryan. And if you've got a topic you want me to talk about, just put it down in the description, put it down in the description, put it down in the comment section, and I'll gladly talk about it. To me, to talk about Matt Ryan, we got to focus on the quarterback position because, listen, they're overpaid compared to every other position out there pretty much, and they're immune to some of the other problems. Think of the short shelf life that a halfback would have, or a rotation system now that we see halfbacks playing in. A quarterback doesn't have to worry about that. He's not going to have to worry about, it's third down, here comes another quarterback. They also usually have offensive schemes created around them. Yeah, there's going to be Barry Sanders. Yeah, there's going to be Adrian Peterson. But for the most part, the quarterback is going to command a higher salary. But in turn, he's also going to have a high level of blame when things don't go right. And I think right now, when you look at the numbers, I think they're almost at $68 million paid to Matt Ryan. It's clear he's not performing to that number, and that's going to frustrate fans. It's going to frustrate the team. I know that they've already had a players-only meeting about the performance of the team, but right now, the Falcons don't have anyone that they've been grooming to replace him. He's certainly, in my opinion, the best quarterback on the roster. You also have to understand, a lot of teams find themselves in the same situation, and it's a difficult one. You've got a team and you don't want it to regress. So you pay huge money for a quarterback to stay, because if you don't, there's always a team out there worse. Like the Redskins, the Browns, the Raiders for so many years. You've got a team out there that's willing to throw huge money at your quarterback to try to lure them away. I mean, think of Donovan McNabb. Think of Jason Campbell. Think of Jake Delhomme. It happens. So talented quarterbacks are hard to come by in the NFL, and if anything, the Falcons really only paid what probably was the going rate for what they felt like was going to be a player that brought an elite level of play. Now obviously when he doesn't do that and he plays like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league despite having, one of the best wide receivers in Julio Jones, it's going to be a topic. And I think anytime a quarterback struggles in the NFL, the discussion always ultimately turns to, what has he done? I mean, think of all those years with Peyton Manning. How many Super Bowls has he won? How many playoff games did he lose? It's just where people go to. Matt Ryan has a pretty good body of work, but he plays in a dome 8 times a year. He's yet to really win anything significant outside of one playoff game. I mean, this is also a guy that was up with, I think, over 2 touchdowns in the NFC Championship game, and yet in the second half, all he did was throw a pick. Never led the team down and threw a touchdown. And that to me says a lot about what we're talking about now in a team that can't win. But I also think that Kyle Shanahan has a lot to blame on himself this year with how this team is performing. I don't know that Matt Ryan is comfortable. I don't know if Matt Ryan has been comfortable, for that matter, since Tony Gonzalez left. And I know Tony Gonzalez is a surefire Hall of Fame player. You're not going to bring anyone else in to replace him and give him that chemistry. But you know what? You have to have some type of safety valve for your quarterback. And when he's had somebody like Tony Gonzalez, you need to bring somebody equal or maybe less than that can be that same go-to guy. Hey, when no one else is open, when you don't have any other options, here's a safe place to throw it. And when you take that away, I think it really hurts a quarterback. The play calling, I don't want to say it's atrocious, but it's just bad. You know, I watched last week's game. There's a couple times, if you watch the Falcons this year, where they'll have a full series that's just inside runs. And then almost on cue, like a play action or a screen. Like, that is stuff that's really easy for defensive coordinators, for head coaches to game plan to. It's just if I can watch the game as a fan and see the repetition, and I can look at it and see, you know, the telltale signs here and there of what's going to happen, I know those players on defense absolutely knew it 2 plays before I did. So, to me, that's where we are. You know, I don't know what the answer to Matt Ryan is. I don't know shipping him out the door is the best practice. But I certainly need to think about what Shanahan's done the other places he's played. Because if you look at where they are right now, they're not, you know, falling apart themselves. You know, Kirk Cousins looks pretty good in Washington right now. He actually may have a big deal looming to lure him out of there. You know, Brian Hoyer's playing pretty respectable for Houston, and I know that we never want to use the Browns as any type of basis for a quarterback performance, but you know, even with all the turmoil and injuries they've seen, it looks like they're at least pretty stable this year. They've been competitive in games. But, you know, keep in mind, they've got a wide receiver that rarely touches the field that probably is one of their best in Dwayne Bowe. And we continue to see flashes from Travis Benjamin, but never anything consistent enough. But again, the quarterback situation there isn't consistent either. So to me, when I look at the whole picture, it's easy to say Matt Ryan. He's the one throwing the ball, and he's the one making the mistakes. But it's also a lot easier to say, hey, look at what Kyle Shanahan's done. Look at where this team is. And hopefully, with another coordinator next year, we'll be able to say, okay, well, maybe the Falcons pulled out of that. Love to know your opinions on this. Appreciate you checking it out. I'll be back in the week with more commentary.